What if I told you there are Star Wars ships so perfect that their crews literally never want to see a planet again? Not because they're hiding or running, but because the ship itself becomes so much more than home that landing feels like going backwards. So we're ranking 10 of them by how well they support permanent life in space, from autonomy and layout to survivability and what day-to-day life actually feels. Let's jump in. Number 10. The Barlow's Class Medium Freighter. At 41 meters long with roughly 110 square meters of living space, the Barlow's is what happens when engineers design a ship for exactly two people who genuinely like each other. Built for skeleton crew operation, this thing is all about complete autonomy and independence. And here's what makes the Barlow's interesting. The interior is modular. You can literally reconfigure between cargo runs and living space, depending on what you need this week. A real galley, compact but fully functional, with enough room to cook something better than ration bars. One shared refresher, so you'll learn the art of scheduling fast. Two private cabins, just enough personal space that if one of you has a bad day, you don't have to make it the other person's problem. The Barlow's can support 6 additional friends, with several extra cabins readily available. Walk through this ship, and you realize it's the space equivalent of those couples who sell everything, buy a converted Sprinter van, and travel the world. Everything has double duty. The cargo bay becomes your living room when you're between jobs. The navigation station is also your dining table. Depends on the day. A Class 2 hyperdrive means you can escape quickly when you need to. And for a couple committed to permanent space living, that simplicity is the whole point. This ship is perfect for minimalist couples who discovered that the best relationship therapy is being able to jump to light speed whenever you need a change of scenery. Number 9. The Action 6 Transport. The Action 6 might not turn heads, but at 100 to 125 meters and a crew of 10, it's the quiet backbone of long-range ops. With a Class 3 hyperdrive, a Class 20 backup, and 3 months of consumables standard, it stays mission-ready. But the real trick is in the modular cargo holds. Configure them right, and you're looking at 6 months off-grid and up to about 90,000 metric tons of hull capacity. Ships like the Action 6 are the kind that move regiments, supply forward bases, and vanish into deep space for months. Imperial captains and Rebel logistics officers both wrote the same thing in their reports: reliable, unglamorous, and essential. The genius here is the do-it-yourself potential. Crews customize these to suit their needs. Panels don't match, nothing is symmetrical, and that's exactly why it works so well in a hostile galaxy. Your ship doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to be yours. Both the Empire and the Rebel Alliance use this ship for extended operations. When both military powers trust a ship for 3+ month deployments, that tells you everything about its self-sufficiency. This is pretty much the semi-truck of space. Not sexy, and definitely not fast, but it's reliable. And reliability is a luxury when you're 3 sectors from the nearest port. Number 8. The YT-2400 Light Freighter. At roughly 135 square meters of living space, this is the smallest ship on our list. The YT-2400 feels like what happens when Corellian engineers take the legendary YT-1300 and decide to refine it rather than reinvent it. Same proven DNA, just tighter, cleaner, and more purpose-built. It's designed for a crew of 2, but you can fly it solo in a pinch. A Class 2 hyperdrive keeps it quick on long runs. You've got about 2 months of consumables, and it doesn't pretend to be helpless. Modular turrets let you tailor the firepower to the job instead of over-arming the ship and living with the consequences. Here's what really makes the 2400 interesting. This ship came after the YT-1300, and Corellian engineering actually learned from what pilots put the 1300 through. Not because it was bad, but because it was pushed to its limits. Power couplings failing mid-jump, hyperdrives that needed a good smack to wake up, shield generators that sparked just often enough to keep you nervous. So what did engineering do? They cleaned it up. Stable power, smarter shields, sensible maintenance access. This ship is built for consistency, not improvisation. The galley is small but efficient. The refresher is minimal, tucked where it makes sense. Bunks fold down when you need them and disappear when you don't. You're living on field packs and whatever you can heat on a portable burner. But here's the difference. The systems behind it are simple, accessible, and dependable. The burner works. The power stays steady, no surprises, no drama. This is a ship for pilots who care about the machine itself. One where every major system is reachable from the central corridor, and nothing feels like an afterthought. And when things really go sideways, you're not scrambling. Dedicated escape pods are integrated into the hull, positioned for fast access from the main corridor. Think of it like the Porsche 911 of freighters, compact, purpose-built, engineered to be driven hard without complaint. Number 7. The Brahatok class gunship. This is the underdog that took down a capital ship. At roughly 90 meters long with a massive crew of about 70 to 75, this ship punches well above its weight. It carries approximately 8 months of consumables, and that's worth pausing on. 8 months. For a ship this size, that's exceptional. Most vessels in the 90-meter range manage 2 or 3 months, maybe 4 if they're desperate and packing supplies into every unused corner. Not this baby though. This ship was built to stay out there. You get a Class 3 hyperdrive with a Class 15 backup, 8 turbo laser cannons, and 8 concussion missile launchers. This isn't a lightly armed escort, it's a serious combat platform, built to tear through starfighters and still threaten ships much larger than itself. It can even carry 2 starfighters externally, in case you and your mate want to race and decide who's cooking tonight. The silver-plated hull gives it a distinctive look, but more importantly, it's practical. Durable. Built for deep space operations where repairs aren't guaranteed and survival depends on the ship doing its job without excuses. And here's the proof. At the Battle of Endor, 2 Brahatok-class gunships helped bring down a Carrack-class light cruiser. This wasn't luck. It was exactly what Dornian engineers designed the ship to do. And the rebels proved it worked. The Dornians built ships around one core value: independence. Now imagine yourself aboard one. This isn't a ship rushing back to port every few weeks. Ships built for deep space operations don't compromise on consumables or redundancy. With that kind of onboard supply, this ship can run long patrols along Hutt space, handle anti-piracy operations, and fully support its 2 externally carried starfighters without calling home. I always assume you need a massive capital ship to survive extended deep space missions, but the Brahatok proves otherwise. Smart design and serious firepower compensate for size. You could patrol entire sectors and only dock for fuel. That's the Brahatok promise. Think armored expedition vehicle just scaled for deep space. Number 6. The Wayfarer-class medium transport. At roughly 82 meters with its cargo pod attached, this baby brings something none of the other ships on this list can match: detachable cargo sections. It runs with a standard crew of around 10, though it can operate with far fewer when needed. A Class 2 primary hyperdrive with a Class 14 backup, about 3 months of consumables, and heavy defensive turrets give it real staying power. And here's the genius. You don't just load cargo, you swap the entire mission profile. 1 week, it's a passenger module with sleeping quarters. The next, a scientific pod packed with sensors and lab space. After that, a small craft bay. The ship doesn't adapt around the job adapts around the ship. Walk through a day on a Wayfarer, and it looks like this. You're running independent cargo for weeks at a time. Solid work, steady credits, crew locked into a rhythm. Then an opportunity pops up. Passenger transport, survey work, something unexpected. Instead of saying no, you dock at a shadow port, detach the pod, bolt on a new one, and you're back in business. Same ship, same crew spaces, completely different purpose. And that dual hyperdrive setup matters more than you'd think. The Class 2 primary gets you where you need to go fast. The Class 14 backup means if something goes wrong deep in the black, you're not stranded waiting for a miracle. That redundancy isn't convenience, it's freedom. Most ships lock you into one role: freighter, transport, or warship. The Wayfarer says why choose? For traders and merchants who refuse to stay static, this modularity means infinite possibilities. Your home adapts to your choices, not the other way around. And a crew of 10 means you've got enough buddies to run proper shifts, keep the systems humming, and still have a few crewmates to crack open drinks and throw a small party when the job's done. But you're not drowning in crew drama. Everyone still matters. I like to think of this ship as a modular Winnebago where you can swap the entire rear section. Cargo this month, luxury sleeper next month, mobile workshop the month after. Same chassis, infinite configurations. Number 5. The CSS 1-star shuttle. At around 80 meters long with a standard crew of 8, the CSS 1 Corellian Star Shuttle was built for a very specific role: long-range diplomacy without reliance on friendly ports. It runs a Class 1.5 hyperdrive, carries no weapons, and instead leans on heavy armor and powerful shield generators. Elegant, efficient, designed for diplomats who cross the galaxy, conduct their business, and leave without ever setting foot in someone else's capital. If the consular-class cruiser is the public face of diplomacy, the CSS-1 is where the work actually happens. This is the personal shuttle ambassadors live on. Mornings begin in neutral space, briefings over secure holonet, private negotiations handled quietly. Then, the ship is already spinning up for the next jump, before outside pressure has time to build. Your defense isn't firepower, it's restraint, armor, shields, and the authority that comes from representing something larger than intimidation. Planets come with strings attached, dock at Corellia, and the governor wants favors, and every port pulls you into someone else's gravity. So, staying in space means staying neutral, and that's exactly what the CSS-1 was built to do. And in a galaxy obsessed with firepower, this ship proves that sometimes the best defense is being beneath notice. Pirates pass you by. There's no profit in a diplomatic ship with no cargo worth stealing. Imperials scan you, see diplomatic credentials backed by serious shielding and armor rated for combat zones, and move on. You're not hiding. You're just operating under a different set of rules. Most people assume unarmed means vulnerable. The CSS-1 proves otherwise. Its armor plating and shield generators can absorb punishment that would cripple many armed freighters. You're not built to win fights. You're built to outlast them, survive long enough to make the jump, and disappear into hyperspace. Think an unmarked diplomatic vehicle with clearance plates, built to survive conflict by convincing everyone else to pick a different problem. Number 4. The E9 Explorer. At 65 meters with a crew of 4, the E9 Explorer was built for small teams running long-duration exploration missions. A Class 1 hyperdrive keeps you fast. 6 months of consumables keeps you independent. 4 private crew cabins, science labs, a medical bay, and a recreational lounge. Everything designed around one question: how do you keep 4 people alive, productive, and not hating each other after 6 months in deep space? Picture the end of a long day in an unmapped system. You walk into the rec lounge and everyone's there, comparing notes, arguing about tomorrow's landing site, riding that quiet satisfaction that this crew is exactly where it's supposed to be. That's the difference between a mission and a lifestyle. And here's what makes the E9 special. 4 private cabins means you can live together for months without losing your mind. Real doors, personal space when you need it. Most ships treat crew quarters as an afterthought. Fold-down bunks in a shared space. Maybe a curtain if you're lucky. Not this ship. The E9 puts cabins first. Because the designers understood something crucial. Adventure parties don't fall apart when missions get hard. They fall apart when living conditions do. 4 private cabins fix that. The modular science pod system pushes that flexibility even further. 8 hardpoint slots let you reconfigure the ship in under an hour. Survey pods for deep space research, cargo bays, and reinforced shielding when things turn dangerous. The E9 reshapes itself around the mission instead of forcing the crew to compromise. And when trouble shows up anyway, 2 laser turrets, 1 dorsal, 1 ventral, are enough to make pirates think twice. Not overwhelming firepower, but just enough to say this won't be easy. Number 3. The WTK-85A Interstellar transport. At just 21 meters long, this ship is built for a crew of 1 or 2. Runs a Class 1 to 2 hyperdrive, carries 2 to 3 months of consumables, and features a modular interior that seamlessly shifts from a daytime lounge and workspace into night mode sleeping quarters. Every square meter pulls double duty. The central compartment reconfigures on the fly, open and functional during the day, expanded and private at night. There's a built-in galley that's minimal but capable, a compact refresher, and somehow room for months of supplies in a ship barely longer than a city bus. SubPro Corporation built this with a very specific pilot in mind: scouts and solo operators who refuse to trade independence for size. And here's what makes the WTK interesting. The engineering philosophy is pure efficiency. 2 ion engines provide power, no excess systems. No unnecessary crew requirements, just exactly what a solo explorer needs to survive months in deep space. Big ships give you space, small ships give you connection. At 21 meters, the WTK is small enough that you feel every system working. This ship proves you don't need massive cargo holds or luxury amenities to survive out here. You need reliability, efficiency, and enough supplies to push to the next unknown. And it's better defended than it looks, with a rotating double laser turret and twin chin-mounted laser cannons. This is the ship for pilots who explore for the love of discovery, not the size of the payout. Number 2, the CR-90 Corvette. At 150 meters long, with a crew that can range from 30 up to 165, depending on configuration, this is where things get serious. A Class 2 hyperdrive, a full year of consumables, and anywhere from 2 to 8 turbo lasers, depending on configuration. And here's what truly sets it apart: no landing gear at all. This Corvette isn't just bad at landing, it's not meant to land, ever. Structurally light, optimized for vacuum, and designed to live in space permanently. This isn't a ship that avoids atmospheres, it's a ship that rejects them. Princess Leia used this ship as a mobile diplomatic platform prior to the Battle of Yavin, coordinating rebel activity from a ship built to stay in space. And that way of operating mattered. Landing meant checkpoints, scanners, and eyes everywhere. Space meant freedom. And that year of consumables changes everything. You could chart unclaimed systems, drift through nebulas for weeks, or run deep space research without ever worrying about resupply. That's not just independence, it's true autonomy. Think of it like a houseboat too large to ever haul onto shore. You don't leave the water, you resupply from it. The environment isn't something you pass through, it's where you exist. That's why the Rebel Alliance embraced CR-90 Corvettes. Planets can be occupied, ports can be watched, space can't. Crews who lived aboard these ships for months at a time reported the same thing. After a while, landing felt less like relief, and more like giving something up. Space wasn't exile, it was home. Number 1, the Consular-class cruiser. And for our number 1 space expedition ship, the Consular-class cruiser. Built from the ground up for long-duration deep space missions, the Consular class carries a crew of 8 to 9 with room for a full diplomatic delegation, powered by a Class 2 hyperdrive with a Class 14 backup. Defensive shields only, no weapons. Robust communications, long-range sensors, and life support systems rated for months without touching a port. This wasn't a warship repurposed for peace. It was a diplomatic vessel purpose-built by Corellian Engineering Corporation for the Galactic Republic. Its role was simple: maintain presence, stay neutral, and carry authority, no matter how far from Coruscant it operated. What makes the Consular class special is what it represents. If the Jedi Temple was the Republic's moral center, this ship was its outstretched hand. You can see one in The Phantom Menace when Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan arrive aboard the Trade Federation flagship. Because when the Republic wanted negotiation, not escalation, this was the ship they sent. And that's why it tops this list. The Consular class isn't just a ship, it's a mobile embassy, built to let you live, negotiate, and operate for months without needing a planet. It gives you long-duration life support, serious communications, and enough official legitimacy that most trouble backs off before it even starts. This is a ship where Jedi could meditate in the morning, negotiate treaties by afternoon, and sleep knowing the ship's reputation was its strongest defense. Living in space on the Consular class isn't escape, it's relocation. You're not leaving planets behind, you brought one with you. So that's our list. 10 ships where crews don't just survive in space, they thrive there. Where the choice to never land isn't about running away, but about running towards something better. Freedom, independence, and maybe a little unsupervised celebration. Now it's your turn. Which ship would you actually pick? Drop your ship in the comments, and if there's a ship you think deserves its own deep dive, or if you want to see a follow-up comparing these to capital ships, let me know. If you made it this far, hit that like button and subscribe if you want more tours through the galaxy's most incredible ships. Until next time, may your adventures always have the perfect view, and may you never feel the need to land.